Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my YouTube channel and podcast, helping other people evolve. What I do here is I interview people that have been through a struggle to get to a strength. And today I have my beautiful friend, Alicia, with me. Alicia, we've been trying to do this for a while now.
Yeah.
And I always say God's plan, the universe, whatever you believe, I believe God's plan. But here it is, October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And she is a survivor, and we're going to hear her story. So for anybody that doesn't know what my mission and vision is, it is just to help somebody that's at home feeling like they're struggling alone. In this world, especially nowadays, people are at home feeling like their struggle is so unique to anybody else's struggles. And then they hear a story of hope. Somebody else has been through a struggle, but has gotten to a strength. And that is my only vision, that you could hear a story and get out of bed that day and maybe walk outside and just take a deep breath and know that you're going to be okay. So Alicia, I met Alicia at the gym.
Yes.
She's one of the trainers at LB's circuit training, plug to LB's.
Yeah.
It's my first gym that I really seriously took working out serious. Yeah.
Nice.
And I, as anybody knows now, I work out quite a bit and I love it. So I met Alicia. I didn't really know much about your story. I know, I don't remember what year it was, but they were doing the breast cancer walk and they were wearing shirts for you. And then I was like, oh, I needed to know more about her story. So if you just want to share a little bit, like who you are, your life, let's just hear it.
Thanks. So I'm Alicia Pangrac, and my kind of education was in education. So I used to be a teacher at a school, and then I got my master's and doctorate. So I was doing administration and different things like that. Also consulting. I worked for a consulting company for a while. And eventually I got out of education. So right now I'm working for my husband. He owns a pharmacy in downtown Toledo. And I also work at the gym where we met. So that's kind of just like my general background.
Right.
But while I was going through school to get my master's for my education administration, that's when I was diagnosed with cancer for the first time.
Okay, what year was that?
I just celebrated my 20-year survivorship. Yeah.
Yay.
So that was back in 2002. I was 28 at the time, which if you kind of have an idea about breast cancer, you know, that's fairly young to have a breast cancer diagnosis. So I had found a lump in my left breast, and just because I was young and I didn't really have a family history, at that time I was working out as well. So I was fairly healthy. I didn't smoke. So I felt like I didn't really have any risk factors towards that. So I kind of ignored it.
Okay.
Dumb idea.
Don't ignore.
Don't ignore things. But I'm like, oh, it's nothing. It's probably just a random lump or whatever. But then it gradually was growing and getting worse. And so my husband actually encouraged me. He's like, you know, this seems like it's something. So you better go get it checked out. And I was still like totally in denial. I'm like, I'll do it because you're like asking me to.
Right.
And you're concerned, so I'll get it checked, but I was not concerned about it at all. But as we know, I should have been concerned about it because it turned out that I had stage 3 cancer, mostly because of the size of the tumor. I let it grow for so long.
Right.
So I had a lumpectomy. Thankfully, the cancer hadn't spread outside of that area. But I did do chemotherapy and radiation just, you know, to be on the safe side with it.
Yeah. So that was in 2002?
Yep.
Okay. 2002. So then you're in remission completely, right? Do
Yeah.
they call that remission after it's removed, or how is that?
I mean, yeah, you're never really, I guess, cured of it. Studies come out. So of course, the longer that you go without a recurrence, your survival rate increases. So the magical number was always 15. Like if you've made it 15 years, that's like really good.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's more like a remission.
Okay.
Not a
So
total
you were in school still at that time, you said, getting your master's?
Yep, I was getting my master's, which turned out to be really good because it gave me something to focus on rather than just, you know, all this scary stuff going on with my health. So a lot of people said, why didn't you like drop out of school or stop school? And I said, I really needed something else to like focus on and keep my energy. So yeah, I just kept going with that.
I love that you just said that, because it's so true, because so many people would just go and unfortunately just lay in bed and be like, for me, right? And all the things that go through your mind where you're like, nope, I have to do school. I have to keep my energy focused on something other than this.
Yeah.
And that's probably part of the reason why you did so well with it, is because of the mindset.
I definitely agree with that. Like you just have to be thinking forward and I am going to get through this. And so I can't stop my life. I like want to continue. And so I've got to just focus on that and keep doing what I need to do to progress in life. Because it is so easy just to kind of shrivel up and stop living, but you can't do that.
You can't do that. No, I agree. You can't do that. So now, when did you start? I guess we'll fast forward quite a few years, probably. How long have you been working for LVs?
Well, I've been with LV at the gym she had even before her own. So I've probably been working out with her for like 10 years, but she's had her own gym for 7.
Yeah.
So I've been with her since that point.
Now, did you start as an instructor? Okay. Yeah. And her classes are great, just to let you guys know. They're fun. So then you just got re-diagnosed again, correct?
Yep. In 2019, I got diagnosed again. Yes.
With breast cancer again?
Yep. Breast cancer again.
Oh.
And like I said, that 15-year mark was like the golden thing. So once I hit that mark, I'm like, oh, you know, I can take a breath and really like not have to worry about this so much. But then 17 years after my original diagnosis, I was going in for my regular mammograms and they found something abnormal again. And luckily, because I had started being regular with mammograms, they caught it very early this time. And so treatment, I mean, I would say it's better because I didn't have chemo and radiation, but since it was a recurrence, I ended up opting for a bilateral mastectomy, just to further reduce the chances that it would come back yet again.
Yes.
So yeah.
So now, how often do you get checked then?
Really, I don't have to get mammograms now because I don't have like real breast tissue. So I just kind of get a yearly checkup, and my doctors have always said, again, you know your body. So when you feel like something's not going right or you notice something different, to reach out to them, and they would definitely get me in to see me and check me out. So yeah, it's definitely being in tune with yourself.
I watched you on social media, and since 2019 with the re-diagnosis, you always remain positive and uplifting.
Oh, that's
and even if whenever I see you, you're always like that. And I'm like, man, people need to be more like Alicia, because it's what I can imagine, like 2019, like you said, you're like 15 years was 2017, right? So you're like, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, bam, 2 years later, you're like, that had been pretty devastating at first.
Oh yeah. I mean, once you've been through it one time, you kind of get the gist of how things go when you're diagnosed. So when I went in for my mammogram, they come back in and they're like, oh, we need to take more pictures. And you're like, that you told me that the last time. Right. And so they start doing all these things. And so your anxiety is kind of rising. Like, this is reminding me a lot of the first time. So in a kind of weird way, I expected to have the doctor call, but nothing can totally prepare you for her calling and saying, I'm so sorry, it's back again. So
Yeah, then it sounds like also you have a very supportive husband.
I do, yeah.
That's so
Super
good.
lucky, yeah.
Very good, yeah. Now, you guys don't have any kids?
No, we
No,
do not.
no, I didn't think so. I wasn't positive on that.
Yeah.
I know that you just lost your dog and
I
it breaks my
know.
heart because
They're
I,
our babies.
yes, I lost my Great Dane in 2013 and I'm still not over it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 9 years later and I'm still like, I see pictures of her, I'm like, oh, I miss her so
I
much.
know.
So the second treatment, how long did that leave you like laid up?
Well, it was kind of like long, like over a year process,
Yeah.
just because when you get well, I opted for reconstruction. So I had 3 different surgeries. The first surgery, they removed my breasts and they put in like expanders, which will stretch the skin so that you can get your implants put in. So I had that, and then they actually ended up taking tissue from my thighs and they moved that to my chest to like kind of make the breasts. So that was pretty intense because I had scars from like my knees all the way up to my groin area. So that was like a super tough recovery. And then the third surgery, they just put the implants in. So that was fairly easy compared to the other ones.
And I know that with you being an instructor and a trainer that I'm sure the gym helps you with like mindset and just doing that. And that had to be tough too, because you couldn't do that.
Yeah, well, I'm always like, do as I say, not as I do. Because, you know, doctors want you to stay off for like 6-8 weeks. And I get that and I value their opinion. But for me, I'm like, seriously, if I stay home for that long, like I will get into that bad headspace where I'm going down this dark path. So for most of my surgeries, it was like a week or 2 and I was back, not obviously full on, but I'm like, even if I'm moving and doing upper body, because my legs, I obviously couldn't do much with, but just getting in there, being with the people, that's like very, you know, their energy is contagious to me. So being around positive people and moving around, it was really good for my mental health. So I didn't necessarily follow doctor's orders.
You know, sometimes we don't, but we know what's best for us. And we must have been thinking on the same wavelength, because I was going to say, and the thing about LBs is that community of people.
Right.
You want to talk about love and uplifting, and the energy's so good. I've never walked in that gym and felt anything bad.
Right.
Like, and I'm really intuitive on bad energies and stuff. And I've never walked in there and been like, oh, these people. I walk in there and I'm like, even if it's because of course we all have our days that I'm like, I really don't feel like going to the gym today.
Right.
And then I get in I did it the other day. I sat in the parking lot for like 10 minutes. It was raining. And I was like, I really feel like going in there. And I got in there. And as soon as I walked in the door, it was just like, yes, this is, it's almost like a home.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
And that's the way I've always felt there. So I think that, you know, when you talked about having positive people in our life, that's one of the biggest things that all of us should try to do.
Absolutely.
You know, you get those negative Nellies and you gotta go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. You can be, you know, nice to them and stuff, but you can't like, let them affect your energy for sure.
Yeah, I'm feeling that a little bit at the casino right now, because I went back there to work and there's a lot of unfortunate negative energy. There's a lot of addiction there and stuff. But and for my friends that work there, and you're gonna hear this, there's a lot of people that work there that are miserable. And I'm like, you've been here 10 years. If you're this miserable, you gotta find something else.
Because, for sure. You know, it's not worth it.
No, as you know, life is so short, right? And things can change in an instant. You know, I just posted something the other day about, you know, a car crash, a diagnosis, a death, a loss of a job, a house. Your life can change that quick, you know? And so I feel like if we keep that positive mindset, when those things come at us, at least we have a way, a tool to be able to get through them.
Cope with that, for sure.
Yeah. So now you're working for your husband part-time or full-time?
Part-time.
Part-time, yeah. And his pharmacy is downtown Toledo, you said?
Yep, it is a little independent
Nice,
pharmacy.
nice,
So,
good. And then how many days do you teach at the gym?
Right now it's just 3 days. I
Uh-huh.
kind of cut back a little bit, just because it was getting to be a lot. Because I work out myself and then
Right.
teaching on top of
Right,
it, it
right.
can sometimes get a little overwhelming.
Right.
But 3 days.
3
and
days. And good, and you're good and healthy and everything's.
Yeah, I feel like super great.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to get back to where I was pre-surgery, but
Mhm.
I really feel like.
Good,
yeah,
you look great.
Fought my
Yeah,
way
great.
back there.
That's right, and that's the thing, and so that's why I do this, to let people know, a diagnosis doesn't mean that your world's over, that your life's over, I mean, I've been blessed that, the only time that I've really been diagnosed with anything was back when I drank and I had pancreatitis and my
Mhm.
liver was failing. I mean, that's
Oh my
all.
gosh, yeah.
But when I came back, and now, I mean, I've been blessed not to have anything major, but I do know that if I did, I know in my mindset that I'm gonna get through it, do my best. I'm not gonna lay down and just die, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And unfortunately, people do that. And that's why I do this, to let people know you don't have to, you can survive most anything that's handed to you, you can survive.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think.
totally mindset and thinking about what you have to live for
Yeah.
and what you see your life being after, the mess. There's always
Yeah.
a messy part.
Yeah,
but-
there's always a messy part, but through that messy part, there's a message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna say something, shame on me, because I hadn't had a mammogram in 12 years.
Oh,
I
okay.
just had one done and everything is great. But
Good.
I was like, when they said, the last one you had was whatever they said, however many years, 2010. And I was like, ugh, shame
Yeah.
on me, because I know a lot of people that, have had breast cancer and have survived, and because they got diagnosed early enough.
Right.
And so now I'm yearly, just so everybody knows before anybody yells at me. But is there like anything you want to share with anybody, just some positivity or anything that you just feel?
Well, I will say, like, going through my cancer journey, I did join a few support groups, like on Facebook or whatnot. But I did notice that sometimes in those support groups, like, people were just kind of complaining
Yes.
about things, and I don't know, they were supporting each other, kind of going down these dark paths of complaining, and I don't know, it just wasn't energy again that I wanted. So it's always good to have support, but just be kind of aware of the types of support people are giving each other, and that it is positive and people are really trying to uplift each other. So I did get out of some of those groups just because I'm like, this is not helping me at all.
Right. Yeah, that's
So-
true. I've been in some of those groups too with addiction, and I'm like, and then it's like, it's the same thing. And I get that people are there for support, but you can only support so much negativity. And then you got to be like, I got to go. I can't. And I've done that like in 3 different groups. I try to be the light in there. And then eventually it's like, okay, they're dimming my light.
Yeah,
so
for
much
sure.
that I can't do that for
People
myself.
have to be like, I'll support anyone, but they've got to be making effort themselves to like improving. We can't do it for other people. So yeah, I'm glad you're the light for people, but they've got to be accepting of your light.
And I love what you just said. We can, how'd you say that? Darn it.
But we can't do it.
We can't do it for other people.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I feel like people will be, because I'll try to help. Like one time I just tried to help you again, give you great advice. Second time again, I did. Third time, here I am again, and you're still doing the same thing. And I have to be like, I love you from afar.
That's right.
all there is to it, because as we know, we can't change people, like you said, and we can't let them drain us,
Right.
because then you get, and so I've learned really a lot in the last 2 years about detachment, like letting it go. I actually have a sister that's in active alcoholism and addiction, and I love her and she knows I love her, but it's from afar.
Yeah,
I
sure.
can't be drained by that. And so that's
It's
really
part of your
important.
self-care to, make sure you're not letting that negative.
Yes. And that's exactly it. So I am super excited that we finally got to.
Yay!
I love the
Me
hug.
too.
Yeah, because I've been, like I said, we've been trying to do this, but it worked out well for this
Yeah.
month. So I'm super excited. I love following your journey.
Thank
I
you.
love working out at Albee's. I don't see you very much when I go, but you know, we're all family there. So
Yeah, for
everybody, thank you so much for tuning into
Thanks.
Hope. I hope you guys all have an amazing day and we will see you all soon. Bye.